Welcome to the OLV Daily Reflection for Friday, January 28th. Today, the Universal Church celebrates the feast day of St. Thomas Aquinas. He was a Dominican priest who lived from 1225 until 1274. He came from a noble Italian family who hoped that he would become a Benedictine monk. At the age of 5, he was given to the Benedictine monastery at Monte Cassino to be raised and formed in the Benedictine order. In 1239, he was sent to Naples to complete his studies as a priest. But by 1243, St. Thomas abandoned his family's plans for him and decided to join the Dominican order, or the Dominicans, much to his mother's dismay. On her order, St. Thomas was captured by his brother and kept at home for over a year to try to convince him to abandon his desire to join the order of preachers, or the Dominicans. However, he would not be convinced. Once freed, he went to Paris and then to Cologne, where he finished his studies with St. Albert the Great and became a Dominican. However, during his studies, his fellow students did not think much of him. He was eventually nicknamed the Dumb Ox because of his big stature and what was thought to be a dim intellect. However, St. Albert the Great recognized the potential of St. Thomas Aquinas and was quoted as telling his fellow students, "You call him the dumb ox. I tell you, this dumb ox will bellow so loud that his bellowings will fill the world." And St. Thomas Aquinas, soon with his ministry, was known to be one of the greatest preachers and one of the greatest intellects the Church had seen at that time and has seen throughout her 2,000 years of history. St. Thomas Aquinas gave great contributions to the understanding between faith and reason, and furthermore, he revealed how far human knowledge can take us, but always recognizing that faith is required for the fullness of human knowledge. So today's first reading, in honor of St. Thomas Aquinas, who is also known as the Angelic Doctor, comes to us from the 7th chapter of the Book of Wisdom. It reads, "I prayed, and prudence was given me. I pleaded, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I preferred her to scepter and throne, and I deemed riches nothing in comparison with her, nor did I liken any priceless gem to her, because all gold in view of her is a little sand, and before her silver is to be counted mire. Beyond health and comeliness I loved her, and I chose to have her rather than the light, because the splendor of her never yields to sleep. Now, God, grant I speak suitably and value these endowments at their worth, for he is the guide of wisdom and the director of the wise. For both we and our words are in his hand, as well as all prudence and knowledge of crafts." To begin with, most of us, if not all of us, probably cannot relate to the intellectual gifts that St. Thomas Aquinas had. We are all blessed in different ways, but the intellectual gifts that he possessed are rare. So therefore, the rarity of his gifts probably led to his classmates deeming him the dumb ox, because maybe they didn't understand, maybe they didn't fully appreciate. But again, he had amazing gifts that we now fully appreciate, and they continue to have an amazing effect upon the church. So one of the things that we have to acknowledge is that sometimes we don't recognize the gifts in others immediately. Or sometimes people don't recognize the gifts God has given them in their own lives for themselves. So there always has to be at least an attempt for us to see the gifts in others, or in our own lives, give ourselves the opportunity to develop our gifts so we can fully appreciate what God is asking of us in our lives. Because St. Thomas Aquinas had a truly unique calling that was bestowed on very few in the church, But on the flip side, we all have a calling. And again, we have to take it upon ourselves to respond to that calling to the fullest of our abilities. But one of the things that we do, or at least we hope we do, have in common with St. Thomas Aquinas is humility and determination. Because if every person truly was as humble as St. Thomas Aquinas, and furthermore was able to go through even obstacles to fulfill the calling that God placed upon our lives, like he did with his own family, that humility and determination will get us to where we need to be. Because again, responding in faith to God's call is what we're asked to do. But again, if we do it humbly and we do it to the fullest extent possible, we will end up in the right place. But also we have to remember that all wisdom comes from God. So if we're seeking to use some sort of experience in this world to understand how we're called by God, we just have to be very careful. Because we only know our gifts fully. We only know God's calling fully. And we only know where we're supposed to go in this world through faith. So again, we have to spend that time. We have to make that effort. We have to be humble. And again, the example of St. Thomas Aquinas provides us a great example of how this can be done and how our efforts can have a lasting influence upon the church and our personal lives. St. Thomas Aquinas and Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.